Using probability to make predictions. Probability is the likelihood of a specific event or events taking place. In this video, we're going to look at how you can use probability to make predictions. And this is the formula that we're going to use for calculating probability. So we're going to do a little die activity, and we're going to roll it 6 times. It's a 6-sided die, and these are your 6 different outcomes. These are the 6 things that could occur. We're going to make predictions for these 3 events before we roll the die. So how many times, if we roll it 6 times, how many times do you think it will land on an odd number? Well, we have 3 possible outcomes that are odd, so that's a 3 out of 6 chance that an odd number is going to come up. So half of the time that you roll that die, you're going to get an odd number. And since we're going to roll it 6 times, 1/2 of 6 would be 3. So I'm going to predict that's going to happen 3 times out of the 6. Rolling a 2 or a 3. Well, the probability of a 2 or a 3 is 2 out of 6, which is 1/3. And 1/3 of 6, since we're going to roll it 6 times, would be 2. So my prediction is going to be 2. Rolling a 4. Well, the probability of rolling a 4 is 1 out of 6. And since I'm going to roll it 6 times, 1/6 of 6, it should only happen 1 time. Let's see how close we are to our predictions. I'm going to keep track up here how many times I roll it. So I rolled a 5. That's an odd number, so I'm going to make a tally mark here. I rolled a 2, so a 2 or a 3. I'm going to make a mark here. Rolled a 4. I'm going to make a mark here. A 2. I'm going to make a mark here. We're going to roll it 2 more times. A 6. Now a 6 doesn't fit any of these. It's not odd. It's not a 2 or a 3. It's not a 4. I'm going to roll 1 final time, and I got a 2. All right, so our actual was 1, 3, and 1. All right, we predicted that an odd number would come up 3 times, and it only came up once, so we were pretty close. Rolling a 2 or a 3, we predicted 2, and it was actually 3, so we were off by 1. We predicted that a 4 would come up once, and it did. Our prediction was spot on. Now, the more times you do this, the closer it's going to be to the actual probability. Now, if you were to roll that 6-sided die 60 times, how many times do you think it would come up a 2 or a 3? Well, the probability of rolling a 2 or a 3 is 2 out of 6, which is 1/3. So 1/3 of those 60 rolls you could expect to be a 2 or a 3. And 1/3 of 60, 20 would be a really good prediction on this. You could expect to roll a 2 or a 3 20 times if you rolled it 60 times. And you could also set this up as a proportion. If the probability is 1 out of 3, and you were going to roll that 60 times, you could predict that 20 times it would be a 2 or a 3. All right, let's do a spinner activity. So I have a spinner here, and it has 8 different outcomes. There are 8 different numbers on the spinner. Let's make some predictions on this and see how close we are. And we're going to spin it 8 times. So the probability of spinning a 2 or a 3 would, 2 or a 3 would be 2 out of 8, which simplifies to 1/4. So the probability of spinning a 2 or a 3 is 1 out of 4. And since we're spinning it 8 times, we can expect that 1/4 of those 8 spins are going to be a 2 or a 3. And 1/4 of 8 is 2. So my prediction is going to be 2. The probability of spinning a 4 or more, well, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A 4 or more, that's a 5 out of 8 probability. So 5/8 of 8, we could expect that to happen 5 times. And spinning exactly a 5, there's only one 5. The probability is 1 out of 8. And 1/8 of 8 is 1. So there are my predictions. And let's see how close we are to the predictions. I'm going to make tally marks over here. So we got a 4. I would go here. Let's spin again. That was a terrible spin. Try again. 4 again. Here's our third spin, and we got a 5. And 4 more, so I'm going to make a tally mark here. Here comes our fourth spin. We got a 1, so that would be none of these. Spin again here. Here's our fifth spin. We got a 3, so a 2 or a 3. 3 more spins. 7, so a 4 more, that would go here. 2 more spins. 7. And 1 final spin. A 6. Okay. Well, let's see how we did. We predicted we would get 2 or 3s, and we actually got 1, so we were pretty close. We predicted that we would have 5 spins of 4 or more, and we actually had 6, so we were very close there. We predicted that we would spin 1 5, and we actually did spin 1 5. And again, the more times you spin this, the closer you're going to be to the actual probability. Now, if I were to spin, we have a little bit different spinner here. It's got 6 different outcomes. And if we were to spin this 54 times, how many times do you think this would happen? That you would spin a 2, 3, 4, or 5? Well, the probability of spinning a 2, 3, 4, or 5 is 4 out of 6, which is 2/3. I'm actually going to solve this using a proportion. So if I did this 54 spins, a good prediction would be 36. You could expect for this outcome to occur 36 times. All right, one last example. If you were blindfolded and you had to pick a yellow marble out of a jar, how many times do you think you would be successful in 240 attempts? Well, we have 6 marbles in the jar. There are 6 different outcomes. And the desired outcome, a yellow marble, would be 4 out of 6. So the probability of selecting a yellow marble is 4 out of 6, which is 2/3. So 2 out of 3 times you could expect that to occur. If we did that 240 times, and I'm using a proportion here, how many times do you think that would occur? Well, a good prediction would be 160 times, because 2/3 of 240 is 160. So you could expect that to happen 160 times. So that's how you can use probability to help you make predictions.